One afternoon, Simon was at the gym. He'd just completed his workout and shower. He opened the door to exit the facility, and as he stepped outside, a guy on a bike rode past, almost knocking him down. Simon reached out and grabbed at the guy's hoodie and pulled him off his bicycle and screamed and yelled at the guy, "What the heck are you doing? Get your bike off the sidewalk." Simon was furious. He calls it seeing red. It was everything that Simon could do to keep from punching the guy in the face, and with 260 pounds of muscle, that could have caused some damage, not to mention an assault charge. This was not an isolated occurrence for Simon. This incident played out weekly around London. There are lots of people on bikes, and Simon hates it. I've heard him rant and rave about the nuisance and the danger they cause, the threat to kids and old people especially. So his sense of justice and fair play are so strong that Simon actually believes that he's doing the right thing. He feels like he needs to stand up against this city-wide violation of the law, protecting people on the sidewalks from the evil bicyclists. Simon struggles with anger issues, and this is the trigger for his various addictive behaviors, principally alcohol. So Simon's a Christian and has been for some time, but this ongoing struggle he has with his anger is becoming more and more debilitating. On several occasions, he's narrowly missed being in fistfights and brawls on the streets of London. Simon attends church regularly and is part of a home group. He also has a small group of fellow Christians that he's able to share more openly with and talk about the struggles in his life. As he shared with me over the coming weeks and then months, it became ever more clear that he really needs a deeper and more intimate relationship with the Lord in order to get past this huge issue for him. One evening, after another harrowing interaction with a cyclist on the streets of London, Simon went to his favourite pub for some beers. Simon is one of those guys that, when he drinks, he's in a good mood. He doesn't mind buying drinks for those around him. Consequently, he can spend a considerable amount in the pub while drinking. That evening, after spending a couple of £100 on beers and ales, he made his way home and, once there, decided to have another beer and take a shower. While in the shower, he lost his footing on the slippery surface and fell, striking his head against the wall. He was pretty badly cut and had to go to the emergency room. 12 stitches later and a course of antibiotics, he was back home with a blazing headache and a couple of days off work. Simon had built his anger habits over many years. You could say that he'd programmed his brain for anger. He needed to consciously change his habit enough times so that he began to automatically do the right thing. Tim Chester says, God's agenda for our lives is for us to be holy, just as He is holy. This holiness is the fruit of what we think or trust and what we desire or worship. We've seen that sinful behavior and negative emotions arise when we believe lies about God instead of trusting God's word. Tim Chester also says, sin arises because we desire something more than we desire God. Overcoming sin begins by reversing this process, desiring God more than other things. So let's look at this in the light of Simon's anger issues. As a child of God, his agenda should be radically different. He should be beginning to desire what God desires. But he still has a major struggle with pavement riders. So what's going on here? Simon has a deep desire for justice, and this can be a good thing, but as we see here, it can also lead to poor choices. What is he really desiring or worshipping? So he sees that the bike riders are rebels, and rather than wait for the local police to administer justice, he takes it upon himself in his own version of rebellion and self-righteousness to administer kind of vigilante justice. In some way, Simon is playing God here. He's worshipping his own sense of justice. He's desiring to control the world around him, and when this falls apart, he gets really angry. He finds it immensely difficult to allow God to be in control. In the depths of his heart, he's learning to overcome a deeply embedded lie that God is not sovereign or that God is not really in control.